You, Melissa, and we believe we have reestablished our connection with Dr. Catherine Lay from Cedars-Sinai. Let's try this again. You were telling us the best plan is, of course, just to stay home. But say you do get together with folks, and then you might be feeling a little bit under the weather. We've heard this ever-changing list of symptoms. What should people pay attention to?
So in terms of symptoms, it is true that it's one of those diseases that can kind of present in many different ways, but the most common things are going to be cough, shortness of breath, certainly fever, loss of sense of taste or smell or alterations to that is pretty specific for COVID-19, extreme fatigue, headache, diarrhea, a lot of basically flu-like symptoms, just that they can be a little bit more extreme.
You know, we talk about these symptoms here, doctor, but should we wait for these noticeable symptoms before we make any type of move or notify anybody?
In terms of whether or not you think you have COVID, certainly if you have symptoms, you should be letting your doctor know. But if you're traveling and you are coming back and you're worried about having been exposed, the safest thing is really to isolate at home. The recommendations from the CDC in terms of how long that's going to be after you travel and are potentially exposed is changing a little bit. They have made some changes recently saying that if you come home and you get tested within 3 to 5 days and that's negative, then you might be able to just shorten your isolation to 7 days. But if you are not able to get tested, you really should be staying at home for 14 days.
And the really tricky thing about this, and we hear so much of how asymptomatic people are spreading the virus, and we also hear that there are more asymptomatic people out there than we previously thought.
Yes, so that's definitely the case. That's the tricky thing about this is with other diseases, we've been able to determine that people are not really infectious until they have a fever or at least some type of symptoms. With COVID, that's not so much the case, which partially explains how, you know, this pandemic has been so explosive. So I think that's the thing that people really need to realize, which is that even if you are young, healthy, you are more likely to be asymptomatic, but it does not mean that you cannot put other people at danger. So it's really important to isolate as much as you can, follow all those same precautions that we've been discussing and promoting for many months now, and take care of yourself so that you can take care of others.
We're hearing a lot about a COVID vaccine. Pfizer, in fact, is seeking emergency FDA approval, but it will take some time to roll out here. So are we, with the vaccine on the horizon, are we given some false sense of security because it's perhaps closer than we think?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think that the vaccine looks really promising, and if it becomes available to you, you should definitely take advantage of that. That's going to be something that's rolled out very soon. But in terms of a false sense of security, yes, for a number of different reasons. Right now, COVID is surging across the nation, across the country, across the world, really. And basically everywhere you go, hospitals are becoming overwhelmed. So we don't have a vaccine here yet. So that's not something that we can rely on to make decisions and change, practices right now. Secondly, it also depends on, even when the vaccine is here, that a lot of people are going to get the vaccine. Of course, we have some concerns about that for a number of different reasons, but until a majority of the population has gotten vaccinated and that the levels become low enough, the numbers become low enough that everybody is still at risk.
Well, Dr. Lay, we appreciate your time here this afternoon, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.